Welcome to Beyond Expectations, in an effort to build rapport with our listeners who want holistic wellness in their lives
and are looking to expand from what they already know, beyond expectation.
We're going to talk about our whys and help you get to know us. And Carly's going to start.
Okay, so my why and why I'm here and think and beyond, I want to be beyond expectations, is I know that I have a lot to work on my perspective, and I want to expand my perspective, but I also want to be able to share some of my perspective and expertise to anyone who is listening and want to expand and increase their knowledge of living a healthy and full life.
That sounds awesome. That's why you're good at what you do. And we'll get more into why listen to us after you hear our whys. My why of wanting to spread the message of thinking bigger and living beyond expectations of others and of yourself is because I feel like I want to be an inspiration and a motivation for people who don't even think of the possibilities or their capabilities. As a clinical social worker, I see a lot of people who are depressed and anxious, and a lot of the reason why they feel that way is because they don't think much of themselves, and they don't think much of what's ahead of them. They think a lot of what's happened in the past, people who've done them wrong, people who are doing them wrong currently. You know, they're very much in what is going wrong, and I want to challenge the idea that what if things could be going right, if only you plan for it, right?
Yes. Yep. I'm
Yes.
on board.
Yes, I know. We got this. So
I like to always have a little icebreaker, and sometimes a great icebreaker is a little game. So we're going to do a little 5-question profile game. And I am going to give Nakia 5 words that I think of her when I think of, Nakia. So when I think of Nakia, I think free spirit. I think she has an amazing smile and energy. So I think free spirit. I think of a nurturing mother or just a nurturing person. Very creative minded, and a giver.
And I don't even know. I was telling somebody, I was hanging out with some ladies and said, I don't feel like I'm much of a giver. So it's interesting that you...
But the giving doesn't have to be a product, doesn't have
I want to be a giver, but I'm so bad. I'm like, whose birthday is it today?
But giving can be energy, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we understand that. I've learned there's, whether you know or not, you could be a giver of energy, positive energy, or you could be a taker.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't think people are aware of that. And you're a giver of energy, of positive, encouraging energy. And that's why you're here on this podcast, because you are a giver. Right? Did she not just say that she wanted to be on here to be inspired?
I guess that's it. I guess you know what? When I heard it come from your mouth, I thought material giving immediately, and I maybe that's my insecurity speaking, right? That I maybe am insecure that I don't give enough materially of what I have, and maybe that's something I'm worried about.
Yeah. And I think that is, I think, where we're talking about expectation perspective, is that a lot of people think it's material, but I really, it depends on your love language. We talk about love languages too, but like giving of energy, I think says more to me than you giving me your gift, because that gift, it's going to be used and then it's going to be put aside. But whatever energy you give me, I can grow with that. It's like a little seed, right? And that can sprout into so much more.
Yes, I like it. I like that I give energy.
So I think I gave 4. I don't know if
okay, I love it. Thank you. Okay, give me my one more.
One more. I have one. You broke it. And I said creative. I think innovative in a business. I've been so impressed of what you've done with your business. You obviously are inspired to help people, right? And then you're able to take that and then put a business together where you're actually bringing in partners of the like-minded professionals. That takes a talent and that takes some inspiration. So I think that you are a true entrepreneur, right? And a boss babe.
Yes,
I mean, come on. So that's what
I always wear my invisible crown.
That's
so.
what I
that. That was fun. Okay, I'm ready to do you. You're an amazingly beautiful woman. Okay, so my 5 words that best describe Carly's story, at least for me, is, strong. I look at you physically, you look strong. When you speak, I feel strength that's like coming from your like body, everything about you. I'm like, woo, could I have you in my, my army? Like, let's come join Team Beast, baby. Let's do this. Like, when I see you, I always wanted to work with you. And not necessarily work, because,
right.
As an entrepreneur, I wasn't thinking, oh, let's go and get an office together and sit somewhere and make some money. It was more so like energy was attracted to you. So I would say 1 was strength. I was attracted to strength because I love strong people. I love strong women. Like, I love it. And I was attracted to like just the energy you have. You're so positive and you speak out, that your ability to communicate. I think I've said 4 now, but like, I don't know if I separated them. I'm such a fan. And let me see 1 more, 2 more, I think maybe. I think that was 3 wrong up into 1. I also like your bravery. I saw that you did a photo shoot and movies where you were like kung fu women with like, what I saw. I follow her on Instagram and Facebook, so I'm like a little stalker. But people I like them. I want to know about them. So that's why I appreciate social media. But like, I saw you one time, you were just like kicking ass with samurai swords. What was that?
Yeah.
What was that about?
I do a little acting here and there, and I love to play empowering women, strong heroine people. So it was fun to do a photo shoot and be able to do those kind of roles. Where I did my own stunts and everything. It was fun.
I loved it. I saw you and I was like, can I come and join you and have a sword and do whatever you're doing too? Like, you motivated me. You made me want to get out there.
Good.
That's another thing about you. You are so motivating and so disciplined. So I think those are my last 2. Motivating because I remember Carly and I actually met in a workout group.
Yeah.
We would go every Saturday in Santa Monica and go run the stairs, do push-ups, do these crazy, insane workout routines with Janet?
Jenna.
And she did the Bikini Booty Club in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
She's so fabulous. If you know her, go find her. And we used to meet her every Saturday, and Carly would be there. Like, I'd be late, rolling on in. Carly's already there, running the mile, the beginning mile. Still have energy afterwards. Yeah. Let's go do this, guys. Yeah. So you're very motivating. I had to keep up with you. And then after that was my last one, disciplined.
That's so interesting you say disciplined.
I think you have discipline.
And I think that this is what we can go into. The next part is talking about some of the things that we lack, or what we think of ourselves as just as like a yin and the yang, right? So we have great assets, but then there's some things that we can work on. And discipline is one of those things that I feel like I can work on. So it's funny that you say, or you see discipline in me.
Yes, I see
and
discipline.
And I feel like I lack it so much.
Where do you think you lack discipline?
Because in my expectations of what I think I should be doing, I'm very short. So, and I think we're all very much harder on ourselves than what people are. But I'm very hard on myself, thinking like, being that I'm a personal trainer, being that I think in an orderly fashion, I think it kind of puts me in that way of thinking of like, oh, I gotta do this. I'm always pushing the envelope to think I'm not good enough, right? So discipline might be a far-fetched thing for me in some sense, and I have to allow myself to be more loving or accepting of certain things and saying, hey, the little milestones, saying, hey, you got this, so you should be happy, not think about what you didn't do or that you didn't reach this mark.
Yeah.
And that's something that I have to work on myself, which I am trying to utilize while I'm practicing it. I can apply that to help other people. Most of the stuff that I like to share are things that I realize that I go through. So when I share that to you, it's something that I've personally experienced and played around with, so that I can relate with you and figure out how we can work on it together. So, and just to go with the whole discipline thing, and different weaknesses, I guess, right? You've probably heard of SWOT, right? So when they do, like when you have business seminars, team building, they have this acronym called SWOT. SWOT stands for strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Oh.
And that helps you build your business or your mission, whatever that is. And one of the things that we went to some seminar with my job, and they had us do that. And when we wrote down our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, he took the weaknesses and said, that is an opportunity. An opportunity to you to do something about it and to improve on. Don't look at it something as that's going to pull you down. Think of it as something that you can work on and get better.
Yeah.
So instead of a SWOT, it's going to be what? Shoot. Right?
Well, actually, wait. Explain it to me.
So SWOT.
Okay.
SWOT. So strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So then if you take the weaknesses as being opportunities again,
so it's just suit.
I'm trying to
Get your
suit on.
You were saying shoot.
I'm sorry,
I was like,
Sorry.
what is the H? Is it help? Like, what is the suit?
Get your suit on.
We got to get your suit on. I like it.
So yeah, what do you think you kind of touch base on it. So, things that were surprising when I said something about you, right? You said the giver.
Yeah, I thought that was surprising.
And do you ever feel insecure that you kind of touch on that you're not giving enough?
Well, I guess I could process that a little bit. I think one of my biggest challenge as a really independent woman who, I've gone through experiences in life that tell me that I have to be able to solve problems and survive no matter what, no matter if somebody is going to help me or be around me or engage with me.
Right.
And I can go into detail about that at another time, but that kind of thinking individualizes you. I had a really hard time transitioning into becoming a mother because no longer was I kind of like taking care of self. Like I had my mom and support and everything, but I moved out of the house early.
Right.
And went to college and started paying my own bills and doing everything, at 17. I was already in college. And I think already working 2 and 3 jobs, in high school, I know how to go out there and figure out how to make money and do what I need to do.
Man, that's awesome.
It's been a constant my whole life. And I think that training myself to be that way has instilled in this kind of driven kind of experience of life that really doesn't look at other people very much. Like I look, I like guys, y'all cool, let's hang out, let's go on dates, and I love you, I love friends, I love brunch, but there's still this driven part of me that kind of isn't taken off course for anything.
Right.
And when I had Amari, that's the one thing you have to, your whole body, you can't eat. I love sushi, I couldn't eat sushi.
Right.
For so long, and you just sacrifice so much. And it was jarring because I was so used to feed you, get you to the next level. Like I don't need a lot, but I know how to give what I need, but I don't really look outside to think, oh, do you also have what you need? Because I'm assuming you guys are taking care of yourselves, right? You're going, everybody's pushing forward. We all have the same tools.
Right.
And as I got more and more deeper into my career as a healer and a helper, yoga, having Amari helped me notice other people, helped me open my eyes. But I think people were mad at me throughout my life because it doesn't look like I look up. And I think that's where my insecurities come from, because I think people think I care more about whatever's pushing me, the passion.
Interesting.
Because it's been passionate about so many things. I've been working so much that it's like I'm going to build a passion inside me.
Right.
I think what happened is I built a passion to survive, and then the passion just is in existence. I've created a personality.
And
it's weird.
really interesting, because I feel like you and I are kind of the opposite. So you're saying, if I understand right, that when you were younger, before you had the business, yoga, and your son, that you were kind of streamlining to your passions and being more into what is it, your drive and your ambitions, correct? And then having those other factors in your life it kind of made you open up a little bit more,
evolve,
be aware of other people needs and so forth, where I'm the opposite.
Oh, tell me more.
I feel like being that I was adopted, right? They say that being adopted, your perspective is already vast. It's not, you're always taking in of everything around you, because you're trying to fit in, you're trying to acclimate. So because of that, I constantly was trying to fit in my family, or fit into an identity, fit into the city, the little town that I lived. And I was getting lost and not knowing who I was and what is it that I wanted. So in my adulthood, or in my transition, is trying to embrace more of what is it that I want. What are my passions? What does my heart want? Not what does everybody else want. Right? Because everybody else is important to me. I've learned that people are important to me, and they still are, but I would sacrifice, or have sacrificed, or put on the back burner what is it that I want and who I want to be, instead of having everybody else define and tell me who I want to be.
So you kind of feel defined from a young age?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. As what? Like, what would you say people wanted to define you as?
Well, how do I say this? I think that people are pretty accurate. Like when you had described me, I definitely embody health and fitness. But I think that's all they streamline and see me, when I'm so much more. So when I say, when I talk about something else, which I'm hoping that will expand on, introducing who we are. They're just like, oh, I had no idea you had this side of you, or this side of you. And so I think just because, I don't think I've been, guided in not who I am. Whoever my families and friends have definitely seen an essence of who I am, but it's like I was boxed into like, this is who you are, and that's kind of all you are.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
They didn't see bigger.
Right, they didn't see bigger.
And you didn't see bigger?
Well, yeah, and then what happens, then you start fitting into the role of how you're perceived, right? And I think we kind of go with that with even social media.
Yeah.
We have to be careful with that, because in social media, you get boxed in, whatever you put out there, and then that's how people see you.
Yeah.
And then you start seeing that maybe I am that, and you're actually maybe not that, or you're beyond that.
They say first impressions.
Yeah, first impressions, but we got to be careful on being able to separate that that's a business identity.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole different identity of ourselves that's beyond that.
Yeah. Yeah. Or beyond even business. There's the family identity. There's the girlfriend's identity, or your boys, hang out with your boys. So there's you are different people with different crowds.
Yeah.
And that's necessary though, because that's how you learn.
Yeah.
That's how you become bigger and better, is learning and meeting people.
You
and
have
exploring.
to mold in with you in order for you to survive in this world and get along with everybody. You have to be able to be a chameleon.
Yes. You have to change, and I think that's where I think you might have a little bit of a superpower. Even me, I think you are an adopted child, and you are, what's your ethnicity? What's your makeup? How are you culturally involved with this world?
Yeah, so I was hoping that was mixed, but I'm really not. I did the ancestry.
Really? Why were you hoping to be mixed?
I want to be mixed. I mean, that's it. I want to say I want to be more than the obvious, and the obvious is I'm Asian. Okay, but I want to be like, oh my gosh, I'm Asian and Dutch and African. But I'm 100%.
And there's beauty in that 100%.
I'm 100% Korean. That's what they say. But yeah, I'm 100% Korean. But yeah, I like being mixed. I like diversity. I like culture. So I want to be able to say, oh, I'm this, and I should look into that.
But that's what you are. That's why I brought it up. You're a mix of being one culture. Isn't your mother and father a different ethnicity than you?
Yeah. So I call myself a banana. Well, no. I call myself a ripe banana. So a ripe banana is I'm yellow on the outside. I'm white on the inside because I was raised by a Caucasian family in the Midwest. I'm white in the middle, yellow on the outside, and I got little bruise spots. Now the bruise spots is not really bruise; it's just brown spots. Or I could say ripe banana. And I feel like I got a little black flavor, like Latin or something in me.
Could you date black men?
I date black men, but I've always had this affinity for urban culture and music, and yeah, I obviously I've dated black guys. I have mixed, diverse girlfriends. So, and there's definitely like a little fire in me. I don't know if that's a Sagittarius or if
You
that's
could be
something
like
else.
with the fire stereotypically. You could be Latina. And
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. I
you
could
could
be.
be the fire dragon lady.
But there's something else in me that is
by
like,
media, you know.
yeah, exactly. So that's why I call myself a bruised banana or a red banana.
Yeah.
If you're a fruit, let's talk about this. If you're a fruit, what would you be?
Me for a fruit? I'd be a strawberry.
A strawberry.
Okay, just because it sounds sexy with some whipped cream.
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding, like I'm sexy. No, I think
you
I just
are.
like strawberries. Like I think it's my favorite flavor if I ever get lip gloss or anything, and if I have to choose like the jam or anywhere, I was like, do you have strawberry? Can I have strawberry?
I mean, you do have like a little strawberry harvest hat going on.
I have this little twin face. So.
Do you like a strawberry shortcake?
I do. I used to like that cartoon. You know, and I would dress up like her if I had the opportunity in the future.
There you
Yeah,
go. Just
I
dress
love
up
to dress up.
for Halloween.
For I like to dress up
Okay.
in general. Like
See?
I'm just always dressed
Oh,
up.
you guys are tapping into
You know,
something
it's that
else.
Libra. It's that Libra in me.
She
Like we
likes
like
to
to
dress up.
perform.
And perform.
I think that stereotypes or what we think of ourselves, I think is definitely something that we could explore later on more and more in depth. So
Totally. But the point I was making to explore you being a ripe banana
yeah,
was that you kind of have a superpower in that you have different perspectives already.
yes,
Like you see the perspective of your parents, you can
Yes.
see the perspective of, adopted child, like, it's different, but you also had a family, you had a secure family.
Yeah.
So you don't quite have the perspective of maybe a foster child who experienced the adoption.
right.
So it's a different perspective, but it's still an awesome one that people need to hear about that you
Yeah, I mean, it's
transitioned
definitely
into this.
something actually I want to do. I'm getting more into the Korean adoptee documentaries
Really?
and getting into identity. So identity is really big when it comes to adoptees and foster.
Mhm.
And I really want to be able to tap into that a little bit more because it's really getting to my psychology of who I am. But identity issues are big between those two demographics of people because, once again, they're constantly pushed to see around them and to acclimate and fit in and not who they are. I would love to be able to explore that, and actually I would eventually like to do a documentary on my own to be able to do that and then be able to go to Korea, meet my family, that's one of my
I claim that for you. You're gonna
Yeah.
claim that. It's ours.
with that being said, I also want to say I think a great thing about that being I was adopted is because I see an observance on so many things and I feel like I'm not one race, I don't see race.
Oh, that's hard though.
It's
That's a hard statement to make sometimes.
I see different skin colors. I see different cultural things, but I guess because I feel like I feel a connection to being white, because by association, I'm around Black culture. Because I was raised with a white family, I understand white culture. Because I'm Korean, I'm starting to understand, even if I subconsciously, I have an attraction towards Asian culture. So all that, I just see it as just culture. I just see it as everybody has a different way of living. Everybody has different color skin. Everybody has different features. Often I would see a white person and say, hey, that looks like my friend, I know I'm just going to be very stereotypical. Tyrone. And just to say that he's a black guy, but I will see a white guy and a black guy have similar characteristics and features. I'm like, they look like each other.
Yeah, because we all humans. We got the same things. We got nose and ears, eyes and toes and all those things.
So I feel like I've been blessed by at least from that. I don't see as much. I don't, and all this racial tension really, really frustrates me because I don't see it, and to the point I've even put shutters, blinds.
That's denial you talking about.
Yeah, I know,
But it's good. It works for you.
Right, but it's a good and bad thing.
Yeah.
Right, because it's such a harsh. I've never experienced. I mean, I have, but not harsh racism.
Yeah.
I've definitely experienced racism, but it was either I put a blindfold on to not see it, because some of the times I thought I was just white. I would come in thinking like I'm white.
You really thought you were white?
Oh my gosh, for the longest time I thought I was white. I wouldn't even look at myself in the mirror when I was a kid. I was very insecure as a kid. I
That's
just
so
wanted
shocking to know, looking
Yeah.
at you and being in your energy.
Yeah, I just wanted to prove myself,
Yeah.
and I still have that. I just wanted to prove myself through the works that I do. I was an athlete, I was academic. I want to show that, you know, I can do these things and I'm identified by what I do.
Yeah.
But I thought I was white.
Because you only had mostly white people around
Yeah,
you.
and I didn't
right?
want to accept the fact that I was Asian.
Yeah.
And
That sounds so
only
difficult.
did I, when I get older into college, that I slowly started to accept that I'm Asian.
Mhm.
And people, you know, might like it, not like it. But it's a process.
Yeah. What
It's a
helped you
process.
accept it? College, like was it, did you start to get exposed to more diverse persons or?
Yeah, I think it was me getting more exposed to diverse people, but also I just got to explore myself without being attached to what my parents thought, what my siblings thought, what my friends in
Yeah,
high
your circle.
school, my circle thought.
Did
It
you
was
move
like-
out of the state or something?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you
And
stayed,
I-
you literally.
And I literally wanted to. I wanted to go and
Yeah.
just go away as far as away that I can, so I can find myself. Yeah,
Have you found yourself?
I'm still am.
Yeah,
I
you're
definitely
still on
have
the journey.
definitely found a lot about myself, but I still am, and I think it's an ongoing journey, and it should be an ongoing journey.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Lifelong learners.
It should be.
Lifelong
Yeah.
learners.
So yeah, but what do you think about just in general about talking about the racial tension and everything that's going on from sexuality to the color of your skin to
Well, I think we have an inflaming party administration in power currently for those issues.
Right.
You know, the lack of saying that somebody who's in a Nazi party is not wrong and kind of good people is scary to me as a black woman. Well, and not even only black. I'm multiracial. I mix with lots of fun little things, but as a black, I identify as black.
Okay.
I feel like a black woman, especially once I had my son, a black boy. Any passing that I might have had as an Indian woman or some Hispanic lady, or because I do pass with that, looking the color and the way I look, my thin features, depending on how I have my hair, whether I have braids,
Yeah.
and whether I have a lot of makeup or not,
Yeah,
what my nails are done.
Huge difference.
You know, do I look like I got money today? Do I not? You know, the way
Yes.
people treat me really
Yes.
transitions, or if I have my son, it really transitions. And that's why I said I think my evolving period of wanting to transition happened with the Mari, just because of what it does to your brain to just have to adjust in that way, and to see an extension of you existing in this world as a black male in a world where you see on the news and in social media every week an article about a little black boy just doing something normal little boys do and they end up dead. That affected me in such a dramatic way. Trayvon, Sandra Bland, all of them. Every news article, I started to feel in my body. I started to feel nauseous looking at Facebook or the news every day.
Yeah.
So when you were bringing up social media, I was like, it's really true. We have these boxes, these TVs and these computers and these iPads and iPods and or whatever the million things that someone else who's very innovative and wonderful is going to produce to us, but it's affecting us because now we have proof and we have visual evidence of oppression, systemic oppression of a people, of a whole people who built this nation, and systemically being, kept in prison, the males, for trumped up marijuana charges, but people are selling marijuana now on the streets. It's free. You go get a license for $2. Well, not $2. That's me being, like kind of funny and facetious about it. But
times have changed. It's so unfair how some
times have changed and it's legal in so many places, but so many people are still in prison because of trumped up charges on having marijuana possession. And then people need marijuana sometimes because it's a stressful life in this world, and marijuana is being proven for having benefits for things like that. Some people misuse anything, like you can misuse alcohol, which is also legal.
Yes.
So marijuana is going away the way of alcohol, did. And people are going to use it just in the same way people use alcohol to cope. And some people can't handle it. That's why some fathers are coming home and mothers are coming home alcoholic and driving with their kids drunk. And they shouldn't be, because they're coping with something that's going on and dealing with it in that level.
Right.
So, but we're all affected. And the way we cope is we're using chemicals, medication, anxiety meds, depression meds. When, I'm on this hippie feel of let's go to yoga and everybody breathe together and do some real work on the damage that the trauma of being re-exposed to all that on your TV and in your news and in your conversations, And then that's why sometimes when you said initially, I don't see race, sometimes it's hard for people like me who, when I turn on Facebook or the TV or the news and see somebody's story, the first thing I see is race. And it's not because I have definitely been the victim of the worst racism, but I definitely have. I definitely have a lot.
Yeah.
And what I've experienced has not been nothing near what some people have experienced, and I've just seen so many stories that's really impassioning me as a social worker. My degree is in social work to advocate for people. So this world today is giving me these visions of, oh my God, somebody needs to do some social work on the world. So that's why this podcast also, that's a part of my why.
Yeah.
And I think that even social media, let's go back to that topic.
Yeah.
Because I was pained. I was on a cruise. I was on this very nice, relaxing cruise about a month ago or whenever it happened. And that Jussie Smollett thing happened with, I'm hearing that, and Jesse's in this place. Was he in Paris? And I don't know where he was. And he was beat.
No, was he in Paris or New York?
I don't know where he was. He was somewhere, and he was just being his gay empire self. And somebody beat him up, and I was like, how dare they? How can they be hurt that way? Why is there so much hate? And then to hear that it's a made-up story is so painful.
I don't understand. I just don't.
Well, if it even is, the story changes every day. Today is what's today?
Yeah.
It's in March 2019, and it's a story that's different that was in February 2019.
Right. And I can see that. I can see how disappointing, I can see how that is for you, but then also they talk about for the gay community, right? And I just read an article about how Robin from NBC was talking about how when she interviewed him, how it was so hard for her, being that she is a gay person, and she's interviewing. She wants to be able to give the benefit of the doubt to him. But so she was kind of on a tricky ground, as she would say, a no-win situation when she's interviewing, because she doesn't want to feel like she's not supporting another LGBT member, but also want to be able to get the real story out, right?
Yeah.
So I can understand how difficult that was for her. But yeah, it does put people kind of on the fence. Like, what are you supposed to? You want to support, your community, but then when you have someone who does something like this, you can't help but I can have a little bit of, I don't want to say, you don't want to hate, but why would you do that? Why would you just kind of in a way tainted our community? Maybe that's not the word. Maybe those
it feels that way. See, that was an intense word, tainted.
Yeah,
but you did something to the water. You can't drink it no more.
Well, yeah, but it's basically the community that we're trying to build positive perspectives and whatnot, and then it could be for anything. We're talking about this specifically, but if I was to say that I'm really trying to build a community of any sort, and someone puts a negative press about it or something, you're like, why? But why? And what it comes down to is this, I think, is that people are going to be selfish no matter what they're going through, right? Especially if they're mentally not well. Mental issues are huge now. Right?
Well, that's why we're doing the whole thing. Wellness is important.
Yes.
You got to feel well in order to be a good person.
So there's something wrong with Jessie.
Yes, that's what I think. When I said disappointment, I meant more so disappointment in, first when I heard it, I was devastated that someone like him, because he seemed like such a good guy. I respected him as an actor on Empire and an advocate. He advocates for lots of things. I think he was advocating for that college that was losing funding. I think Bennett College. And it's just somebody who uses their celebrity, because right now in this world, the best, the power in the world is fame and money.
Right.
So he has some. And I thought I was respectful of him using that to have some kind of a platform. And then when he got beat up, I was like, oh, great. Like, and not great in a way that yay, it happened, but look at him out there sharing his story.
Right.
Although he has to be in pain right now, he just got beat up. And I think bleach, they said, was in the story. So I was like, yeah, I could be burned. Like, something's going on.
Right.
The fact that you're on this show sharing, like, almost like I had no thoughts that, why would you even think something like that? Like, why would you think someone would pay someone else to beat them up? It just didn't, I can't fathom that idea. So to hear like that he went and turned himself in for doing it to get more salary, I don't even know if that's a story. Like, that's something I saw. Again, the whole reason we're having this conversation is going back to social media.
Right.
We don't know him. We don't know whether he did this or not. We don't know the story. We ain't in it at all. We're having a whole conversation about something that is none of our business.
It's none of our business, but the thing is, social media has the power, right,
to have these conversations.
open up discussion to the possibility of that being a representative of happening everywhere.
Yeah. And then now people have this story that if a gay person reports a hate crime or a black person reports a hate crime, they just lying, they trying to get a better salary, or they just trying to come up from it. It's another story for someone who's ignorant anyway to use as fuel.
Yes.
Not that people will have that as a rational thought, but it's really great fuel to use in your ignorance as you keep going to make stories about why you don't like gay people or black people.
Very
and
true.
he's both. And that's why I was disappointed. I was disappointed that he allowed his mental health get to a certain level, that he wasn't grateful for all the money he already has and the job he currently has.
Well, that's what I mean. I didn't mean to say the word taint, but that's what I mean.
No, I wasn't saying that you said an extreme word and it was bad. I was appreciative of it, you know, how it gave you that passion.
You know, because I'm just, you know, I can imagine if something that I work so hard and you know, I feel so much love towards and someone ruined and changed that reputation. I just feel like, I guess, mental illness is something that we can, you know, talk on further in the other future episodes, but that's something that I feel like we need to address. That just because he made a poor choice and did whatever he did, instead of looking at and that being a reputation that's put on a certain community, we need to look at why did he do that?
Yeah, why
did he do that? He needs help, instead of just saying, oh my gosh, he's an awful person. He's mentally ill.
Or instead of, there's this big movement going around of saying, instead of what's wrong with you, what happened to you?
Right.
You know, what happened to him that made him feel that the best way to get what he needed was to hurt himself, to pay people to hurt him. And the internal message that just indicates to me is really deep. So, and then, you know, did you hear about that story on, I saw it on Facebook, but with the pastor and his stepdaughter, and they said that the wife was killed by a panhandler. When the wife rolled down the window to give him money, he reached in and stabbed her. And that was a story that went national, and everybody was like, oh, I'm so scared to give money to the homeless now. And it was just like a lie. It was a story. I think Oprah even said something. So, you know, that's all in how the way something that happens affects the way the world thinks, you know?
Yes.
And then it came out about a week ago or so that they staged it and they tried to get out of the country and they had killed her themselves. That's crazy. But all this time, until they were exposed, people are afraid of getting to the homeless. You know, so now we have, oh, you can't report, I might get hurt. Oh, you can't roll down your window to give it to the homeless. Poor gay LGBT community and homeless people.
So how much of the stuff that we see and hear is newsworthy? And how much should we be having to absorb? You know, that's a question that we have to ask.
Well, we absorb it either way, I think. I don't know if we have a choice.
Which, you know,
I guess restricting.
How much should it influence our perspective and how the decisions that we're making? Because a lot of the information that we're getting is starting to be opinion based, entertainment based. So I think that's just something I don't know the answer to that. But
is there an answer?
The
things we ponder.
Right.
As we think bigger, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we've had a wonderful time in our very first segment.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening and getting to know us. I'm Nakia Fields. I'm a clinical social worker, and I have passion for helping you think bigger and broader in your ideas for who you are as a professional and in your personal life. And then Carly.
And I am Carly Sine. I am a personal trainer, a health coach, and I am ready to grow and expand with you our minds, bodies, and spirits, and just be positive in growth.
Yes. And with that, we say goodbye from Beyond Expectations, and with good energy, have a good night.